Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager number 3944 SC 26D. This is a latch bolt. This is a Hager latch bolt, a very typical and common piece of equipment. This is going to be used in lots of their locks. It's a deadlocking latch bolt, so it's going to be used in keyed functions. They say it's not for use in the corridor 3473 function. This is a replacement latch bolt. That's what it is. The face of the latch bolt is going to have some information on it that is important to see. The UL, okay, that indicates that this door is permissible for use on a fire-rated door. And that label that's on there as well further testifies that. The F that you see there, you'll note that it's a capital letter F. That means that it is compliant with positive pressure. A lowercase f happens to mean neutral pressure. Capital F is positive pressure. Okay. We've got SS stamped in the face of this. That could mean that's stainless steel. Another important thing, I don't know that it's stainless steel, it's non-ferrous. Another important aspect is that the projection of the latch, it appears to be 1/2 inch. That's incredibly important to know because your door, if your door is fire rated, if your door is not fire rated, none of that really matters. If your door is fire rated, however, you'll need the UL, you may need the F, and your label on the door will say min or minimum latch throw. You can see them that are 3/4 inch. You'll see that in pairs of doors. In single doors, 1/2 inch, but you'll see other stuff as well, depending on what that door has been manufactured to do. Is it a temperature rise door? Is it a pair of doors in a 3-hour wall? Etc. So you'll want to be mindful that this is a 1/2 inch latch. If you happen to require a 3/4 inch latch, that won't be impossible to purchase, but you'll want to make sure that the lock you want to buy, you can obtain a 3/4 inch throw with your latch projection. Screws are included, typical machine wood thread number 8 screws with a flat undercut head. That's typical. This is a deadlocking latch bolt. That means when the tab is held in depressed, like you would have on a normal, correct, proper installation, you can't push that latch bolt in anymore. Okay. That prevents lloyding. It doesn't prevent, all but prevents lloyding the latch, tampering with it, shimmying, jimmying it open. Okay, there are some extended description information and supporting documentations. Let's switch to the screen view to take a look at that. Okay, here is the item that we're looking at on the screen here. We have 3944 2 3/4 backset latch bolt, I should say, 26D finish. Let's take a look and see the other finishes that are available on this. US 10, well, first of all, RC stands for radius corner. We're doing an SC for square corner. US 10 for satin bronze, US 10B for oil rub bronze, US 26 polished chrome, 26D satin chrome, US 3 polished brass, US 4 satin brass. Okay, 2 1/4 tall, 1 1/8 wide. That's going to fit into a standard 161 prep, a government 161. A template, let's take a look. It's probably a technical drawing to a certain extent. Shows other latch bolts together. And you'll note that nowhere on this lock does it measure 2 3/4, because that's a reference from the 2 3/4 is, of course, a reference from the edge of the door to the center of the hole. But speaking of backset, depending on whether or not your door is square-edged or beveled, backset is defined from the center of the thickness of the door and not from a high or a low side. Just food for thought, I suppose. 3944. So apparently, if you've got this 73 function, you're going to need a different latch bolt. And we'll take a look and see. I can't think off. They say it's a quarter function. we'll take a look at that description. Now back to our item, we have the product catalog here, and that's going to show us the 3400 series units, which is a grade 1 cylindrical lock. Let's get inside of that catalog and take a closer look at it. The how to order function, and while this catalog is probably not germane to a latch bolt, it may be in order to help you determine what are all the other products that you need. So deadlocking, the 73 function, why doesn't it use this latch bolt? Deadlocking latch operated by lever from either side, except when the outside lever is locked by key in outside lever or push button on the inside. This is probably what happens. Okay, yeah, that it's right here. Closing door releases push button. So key and outside lever locks or unlocks the lever. Operating the inside lever releases the push button. Here's where the difference is. If you were to be on the inside of the room and it's locked and you rotate the lever, the button will pop out. You pull the door open, and before you walk out and close it, you push that button back in. As soon as you pull the door closed and that latch bolt gets depressed, it will pop the button back out. Okay? Why do you want that lock function? Well, it keeps people from goofing around, locking somebody out. Is why that happens. So that the bottom line is the latch bolt itself, and it's probably well, I'm getting the impression there may be triple or 3 pieces of metal that are here. So the bottom line is when the latch bolt gets pushed back, these get extended out, and one of these is going to hit that retractor hub, and it's going to make it pop the button out. There might be a piece in here with an extra shoulder on it, an extra sliding piece. I don't know. The 3944 I have, well, actually it only has one piece that slides. Well, no, there are actually 2. That's interesting. This 3944, well, when we switch back to the camera view, I'll show you what my theory is, or how it works anyway. So, back to the catalog, that's the function. Whatever lock you have, there you go. Different trims available in this 3400 series. Descriptions, electrified functions as well. Now, here's really, what we're intending to show you. 3944. There's our 2 3/4 dead latch. They do make a 3/4 latch projection. That makes sense because this would be their flagship grade 1 cylindrical lever lock. So yeah, you're going to have that 3/4 inch throw latch possible on these locks. Spring latches. Okay, they have a different latch for privacy sets, which may incorporate that 73 function. 2 3/8, 2 3/4. Backset extension links. If you want to go to 3 3/4 or 5 inch, you can. But be mindful, if you're going to 3 3/4, you have to have a 2 3/8 latch. If you're going to 5 inch, you have to have a 2 3/4 latch. And there are the 2 units for that corridor function only. The next page will be strike plates, and that's where that wraps up. Speaking of wrapping up, let's get back to the item that we're looking at. The link to the manufacturer's page as seen here. That page is handy because it will allow you to review not only all of the Hager products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Other encyclopedic documents are here, such as the Hager Keying Service Manual. That's a handy document if you wanted to do a deep dive into the Hager system of keying, their in-house keying structure. A very interesting keying structure. If you are a locksmith at all, you might enjoy simply reading about it. There's nothing here that's really cutting edge or new. It's just, Hager has their own keying system. It has both a tip and a shoulder stop. Okay, it has a lot of, it shares a commonality with small format in terms of how it's pinned, the diameter, or the center-to-center cuts on the material. Very interesting. I made an overview video of that system as well. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Okay, now in conclusion, what I was referring to previously on that corridor latch is when I throw that back, got that black portion that's there, and you'll notice that there is no throat cut here, or there is a throat cut here. That's cut open. But on that black piece, it has no throat cut. Okay? I can pull out the black portion alone. Well, maybe I can't. Okay. So the bottom line is, I don't have a Hager 3400 here to test, but when you get that black portion with that throat in there as well, over the retracting hub, and get that T-shape in there, when you push the button in, that shoulder on the black retractor is going to push, on the black slider, is going to push the retractor hub in, and that should pop the latch out. It's related to that concept. I don't have one of those corridor function latch bolts here, but that's how those work. You know, I'll have customers call and say, yeah, you know, I've got this lock, and they keep locking the door when they walk out. Well, what's going on? What kind of lock do you have? And we get to it, and it's an office function. You know, it's basically a push button. And yeah, that's a drag. And you have to be really mindful about using an office function in a fast food restaurant. You know, you've got a sandwich shop. The one kid goes in, uses the bathroom. His knows his buddy's waiting outside. Opens the door, pushes the button, pulls it closed. Now it's locked. Now he's got to go get the key. So, you know, how do you handle that? I'm not exactly sure. Whether it be just a privacy set and no key, or if it's a storeroom lock and you always need the key to go in. Or maybe like your, you know, possibly one of your favorite coffee shops, they have a lot of their urban areas will have electronic combinations over it, and you have to ask for the code. However you do that, you know, if you're patronizing someone's, if you're a patron of someone's establishment, it should just be a privacy set in my opinion. But deep urban areas where, you know, like New York City, it's tough to find a public bathroom in Manhattan sometimes. There's no question. 3944, it's a replacement latch only, not uncommon to need latch bolts. They get damaged, lost, things of that nature. It's a grade 1 lock, that 3400, which means it will go to 1,000,000 cycles. Who knows what it would ultimately work to. It's probably several million cycles. But things, you know, mechanical things in nature, like everything else, will fatigue and fail with time, and luckily they make these replacement parts available. Any questions on the 3944 2 3/4 latch for their grade 1 cylindrical lever or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.